Chase Briscoe's quote on getting runs at Talladega versus Daytona. Spot on, spot off. And Jason, you want to read that?
Chase Briscoe said after his wreck, I felt like the cars were way more stable than Daytona, so you could get way more aggressive. It was weird. You couldn't build runs. I was hitting the rev limiter anytime I had a run at all.
Brett?
He's not lying. I saw a lot of guys down the backstretch just freaking cream the car in front of them, and it just picked them right up, and they just kept going. And typically that will turn a guy hard right and create a wreck. So I was amazed. I thought we would see more three wide. I thought we would see more opportunities to make moves, and it was tough. I mean, it took a lot to make anything other than the bottom work yesterday. Typically we see those guys, with the old style cars, fight for the top and end up, single file up against the top when they decide during that point of the race it is safer to ride versus race. And yesterday it was opposite. We fought for the bottom. And once you saw that outside line dissipating, whether it be that Austin Cindric is leading it, who has a little bit of nose damage, or whatever that may be, you were screwed. I mean, once that outside line went away, it went completely away. So I hate to say this, man. I love Talladega. That race at the end became a game of chance over a game of skill, and it's because of the way the cars raced. I was not impressed with that package at that racetrack, and I thought it was going to be a 10 out of 10, and for me, it was not.
Freddie?
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw a very similar race in Daytona. We didn't see a lot of three wide in Daytona, and it was essentially your line moved when the top two guys in your line got tandem. That was the only way you were going to do it. There was credit to my guys, the 2311 guys. My car could do just about anything that we needed to do yesterday. It was so fast. We could pull a line. We could push a line. We could get to anybody's bumper anytime we wanted to. It seemed like, our car was a missile yesterday, and it sucks because it's destroyed right now. But, I did most of my spotting when we were leading them top lines of just doing everything I could to back us up. And Bubba was running at times like 60% throttle, which means, he's lifting 40% off the throttle. He's still got about half the throttle down just to keep that guy behind us connected to where that would shove our line. And once we shove our line, it's dragging everybody with us. But literally the only way I saw yesterday to get a run going was the guys in your line had to get hooked up, had to get tandem, and then that would move your line forward. I know we were working on not going to the bottom because I felt like if you went to the bottom, you were going to continue to get leapfrog. Like it would fade. If everybody went to the bottom, it would fade for a little bit, except for when the two got up there because two had damage. But, they would fade a little bit, then they would come back, and I was worried that you're just going to continue to get leapfrog by the top line. So we kind of just tried to keep pulling the top around. But like I said, obviously it was a little different for me because our car was so good yesterday. Our guys brought one hell of a race car to the racetrack yesterday. But, yeah, I could definitely see it. I felt the same way about the Xfinity race for some reason. I felt like the runs were different in the Xfinity race too, but it was a different weekend at Talladega for sure.
The Xfinity cars were definitely way more stalled than they normally are. It was nowhere near the race that it typically is there.
TJ, do you think it was like what Briscoe said, different than Daytona?
Yeah, it was definitely different Daytona, but you had different variations in Daytona than you did here. You had cars that were super fast by themselves and set up more for just raw speed, and that creates different runs, different type of runs. Now when everybody's kind of switching to the same way, now we're all, everybody's the same. Like Chase says, everyone drives better because they saw what happened in the 500 with the good handling cars. They weren't fast by themselves, but they were hard to beat in the race.
Despite Daytona and Talladega being similar in, quote, plate style racetracks, obviously Cup cars aren't running plates anymore. They're completely different. Daytona is more narrow. Daytona tires can wear. Daytona, if it's hot, handling will come into play.
Big time.
Talladega, none of those things happen. It's super wide, no tire wear.
We were actually pretty loose, and Brad, we couldn't really make a lot of moves in the beginning because we were unstable quite a bit. But it's weird to say this, but Daytona and Talladega are two completely different. Like they're super speedways, but they have way different characteristics.
It's time for you to sell your home and make that big move. Let our friends at OfferPad remove all the worry and hassle. Get started today at OfferPad.com.